Hello and a very warm welcome on what is quite a snowy, cold Sunday afternoon. Welcome to Rupal's Chatty Women, and I hope you like the decor. This is our last programme before the new year, so we thought we'd do it next to the tree with the fire and some lovely guests, mince pies and a hot drink. I hope you've got one as well. It has been snowing here in Leicester. Tell us where you are, tell us what the weather has been like. Wherever you're watching. If you're watching abroad, even better. Make me jealous and tell me that the sun is shining. 3 topics, as usual, on the programme today. And no doubt, lots of opinion here, but I'd love your opinion as well. So make sure you use the comment section. Tell us that you are watching and use the emoticons as well. If you've got anything to say, make sure you say it. And if you like what you see, share the video. So 3 topics today. Good neighbours, especially in weather like this. Do we have good neighbours? Do we look after each other? Is one of the topics. The essence of Christmas. We have to talk about Christmas, don't we, really? The essence and the true meaning of Christmas. How do we actually go about making sure that is still alive? And mum is not the word. If you are a parent, have you had people telling you what you should and shouldn't be doing with your children, or perhaps criticising them? These are 2 parents here. We're going to talk about that in the next 10 to 15 minutes time. The mystery voice hasn't been able to make it today, nor has Salma, so if you're watching, hello. We have another mystery voice. Hello. Hello, but we're going to be reading out the comments instead. So yeah, tell us where you are, tell us what you're doing, tell us if you're enjoying the weather. And also make sure you comment on the subjects that we talk about. So introduce yourself, guest number 1.
Hi, I'm Nima, live in Leicester, from London. I'm happy to be here with these guys.
Namaste, I'm Dharma Rathod, and I'm a qualified Reiki master, and I was on the show before, so you may have seen me already. Hope all my friends are tuning into this live.
Yeah, make sure you do. So look, let's talk about, it is snowing. It has been snowing quite heavily here in Leicester. You're a big fan, aren't you, Nima?
Absolutely.
And you want to talk about snow?
Yes.
We're not going to talk about snow as such.
Why do we have to talk about snow?
Yeah.
Because it's snowing.
I dread it. It's one of those things I absolutely dread, because it looks great if you don't have to go anywhere, but
I love it. I love the hustle and bustle. I love the disruption that comes from it. I love the cold. I love the sludge even. I love the black polluted bits that come on the side of the road. It doesn't matter as long as it's there.
But the whole world just stops when we get snow.
That's the idea.
We can't cope.
Snow day, it's the best.
We can't actually cope with the snow at all, can we? Snowy pictures, send those in. We'd love to see those in the comment section. Make sure you do. Just talking, sort of moving away slightly from the snow, it's the kind of weather really that we need to kind of think about other people as well, and neighbours, and we're constantly told, make sure you look after those people, the neighbours that perhaps can't get out in weather like this, may struggle, maybe they're on their own, making sure that they've got essential supplies, etc., etc. Is that something? Do you have good neighbours?
Yes,
Nima?
brilliant neighbours, lovely neighbours. Both on the sides of me are elderly, and one of them is a widow. So we always have made a point of going in, helping her with rubbish, helping her with just making sure she's okay. When her husband was alive, we just made sure that, if there was times that we needed to call an ambulance and things to help him. So I think, it will be wrong to turn a blind eye when somebody's in need. Especially, I think, when we're able, if we have a capacity to be able to extend ourselves, because not helping them would just be turning a blind eye.
The thing is, we've got our families, we've got our friends and everyone around us. That could be us one day.
Absolutely.
We don't know what the future holds. Like where I used to live, and all my neighbours, I know about 8 or 12 of them, they're all my family. I still go back and I go and check on one of my neighbours is now, hi Pam, she's my 3rd mum. So I've got 3 mums I consider as another mum. We've adopted each other. Yes. And we just look out for each other. And for me, community, where you live is your community. Absolutely. You can't put the effort back into your own community.
It's really interesting because we've not been where we are now for particularly that long, and we've got some great neighbours. but there are loads of people that we don't actually know on the street. Perhaps we know 2 or 3 of them, and they're really good. You know who you are if you are watching. Nina being one of them. Hi, Nina. Great neighbours, but it's quite quiet. Whereas where we lived before, my neighbour, our neighbour downstairs, was amazing. She was a 90-something-year-old woman, and she was the one that looked after us. And one of our other neighbours would take the bin out every week for us and make sure it came back and made sure we were okay. I actually relied on my 90-plus-year-old neighbour to look after me when we had mice in the house once. She was the one that rescued me from a mouse. It was that kind of thing. This is the time, though, isn't it, Nima, to talk about community and think about those people that perhaps haven't got someone else to rely on, even if they have.
Is it a cultural thing? Because I remember, or even evolving culture, because I remember being a child and us living next to an older couple who, when it rained, made a point of taking in our washing and things like that. You don't really hear of that anymore. Right now, everyone's living this really, really busy life. We've got millions of friends on Facebook and social media. But the actual helping, are we there for each other? And those are the people that are within our vicinity. And I think all it takes is for you to step out, and I suppose, the dark and cold doesn't help, but stepping out of where we are to extend yourself, even if it's just to say hello.
It is hard to do that when you've moved house. So we've moved house, it's been a couple of years nearly, and it is hard to do that because you don't want to intrude and people are busy. But at the same time, I was like, I feel sad, I don't know anybody. We live in a little crescent, so there's only a handful of people. So Christmas especially, I always do a card. So even if I don't know the name, I'll always put our names and our address to say, hi, it's your neighbour. And it's just one chance that I get to sort of give a virtual handshake, to say, hey, I'm your neighbour, I'm here, this is who I am. That's my one opportunity I take, definitely at Christmas time.
Yeah, we get Christmas cards from various neighbours, and last year we did from neighbours further down the road or up the road, and it was the only time that we had anything to do with them, any sort of contact. And this year, I think I'm going to try and make an effort, even just to pop a Christmas card through some more of the doors, just to make a bit of a difference. And talking of that, we're going to move on to talking about the sort of bringing back the essence and the true meaning of Christmas. What does Christmas mean to you? Is it something that you sort of celebrate at home?
Do. I think we definitely went through years of not celebrating in terms of putting up a tree, but it's always been magical. Growing up in London, it was always go and see the lights, go and see the big Christmas tree in Trafalgar Square. If we have a white Christmas, it's a bonus, and it's just sharing. I always remember neighbours coming over and giving us chocolates, and my mum giving things to the neighbours and so on. But I think the older we've got, we can take it either way. There's people that are, that are taking the stress of millions of presents and doing all the externals, making pies and making this and getting stressed about how many bottles of wine they've got in the house. And the stress that comes with Christmas, I think, is something that worries me slightly, because that's not what it's about. My kids go to a faith school, and faith is very important to me, and not just my own faith. So I grew up in a Christian school, so I think it's important to actually go back to, well, what does it mean? It didn't, however many mince pies you've got, didn't mean a thing to Joseph and Mary, who didn't get a night in a hostel. She gave birth in a stable. So I think looking and seeing how we can help other people, and that essence, the friendliness, the neighbourhood, the gestures, that's very important to me.
I mean, I did a treasure hunt with work. It's on Facebook, but and afterwards, me and my work colleagues, we went for a snack, and we were sitting there at this snack place, and there was a gentleman there, and he was on his own. He was very old, and we just thought, we just carry on. We don't think of anybody else and like the Christmas and how they're going to spend their Christmas. And one of our team colleagues went outside, and he must have chatted to this man. His name's Tony, so he must have chatted to Tony. And on his way back, he told us, he says, it's it's not about giving things. He said when he lived in London, he gave a homeless person a jacket, and they said no. But he was like, it was freezing, and they had to have it. And I'm like, but they said no. And he was crying while he was telling us this story because it emotionally touched him. That he spoke to Tony, and Tony said, you know what? Just speaking to someone human, but just for 5 minutes.
Yeah.
And our work colleagues say, what's 5 minutes?
So how do we go about, let me just quickly say hello to a few people. Ravi is watching the show. I think he's watching all the way from India, so hello. Jitenbai, I think, is also watching. Jitubai is watching in India. Fantastic,
oh, wow.
Thank you. Kenny, thank you for joining. Bhavik and Sanjay all watching the show as well. Tell us what you think of whether, we've been talking a little bit about good neighbours. We're talking about making sure that the true meaning of Christmas is still around, really, the essence of it. How do you go about making sure that continues? I mean, there are so many good things that happen, and regardless of, the stress of it for individuals, but there are so many people that, go out over Christmas, whether it's helping people that are on the streets. There are lots of restaurants, for instance, and organisations that will put on Christmas dinners for people that perhaps won't have anybody else. So it does go on, doesn't it, Nima?
Yes, absolutely. And what's been really reassuring for me is seeing how people, my own friends, using social media, are finding a way of going out to give. So, I've got a friend, Anuradha, who's in London, and she's working with the Food for Life charity just to put together shoe boxes, and these shoe boxes are hand delivered to people because they go out and feed 2,000 people every day in London. So she's going around collecting these boxes of sanitary ware, nice things, biscuits, chocolates, toys, and these are being given out literally hand to hand to people who need them and who would appreciate them. But bringing it back to where we live in Leicester, I've got a friend, Radhika, who she works with the YMCA, and she's doing a drive just for things like tinned goods, baked goods, Christmas goods, which she goes and delivers to the YMCA, and then they're giving them out to people that need them. So it's, I suppose, while we're doing our shopping, doing our baking, doing our thing, we can always think of an advent calendar. Think about mothers who are really struggling will not be able to buy an advent calendar for her kids. So why don't we just, they cost £1. Give some of those out to people.
Yeah.
And how much would a child appreciate something like that? There's so many kids that are displaced, refugee children. Something like that with just little treats that we take for granted.
How do you do it personally, sort of on a personal level? What difference are you hoping to make this Christmas? It's putting you on the spot. but just on a personal level.
Oh, me personally? Well, I suppose I would do some of the shoebox stuff. My children are raising money through school, so putting a few pounds away for the school, doing school fetes and giving money to charity directly, and actually personally is minimising how much I waste.
Great.
So not falling into the commercial nature of Christmas, so not going out there buying, spoiling the kids, just making it a big shopping spree, is actually teaching the kids that actually let's work out how to give rather than it's all about receiving.
Raj, thank you for joining us. Pravina as well, thank you for joining us. Make sure you comment. Tell us what you're thinking about Christmas and how you maybe are doing this on a personal level. If you want to talk about snow, you want to send us your snow pictures, upload them on the comment section. We'd love to see them, and she would love to see them particularly. Dharma, very quickly, on a personal point of view, how do you think you're going to kind of make a difference this Christmas?
I think what I'm going to do is the kids are already going to do shoe boxes, so they're going to do that. That's already planned. But this year, on a personal note, I think I'm going to take a leaf out of my colleague's book, and I'm going to try and take 5 minutes, and it's a bravery thing from you as an individual approaching a stranger, and maybe try and have a 5-minute conversation with the stranger.
Like it.
And, just give a bit more time.
One final topic then, because time really does fly, and I can't see the clock because it's up there. Yeah, it's up there. We're slightly running over time, but it's all good. You're both parents.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
How many children do you have?
2 boys, 5 and 2.
Nima?
A boy and a girl, 10 and 8.
So you could relate to an article that I found in the papers a few weeks ago, and I really wanted to talk about it. Mothers left fuming at comments from others about their children. How many times have you heard someone say about your children, he's a bit of a handful, isn't he? How many times has somebody said to you, I would never let my child eat sugar? Or giving a child an iPad is just lazy parenting?
Do you know what I really think?
Go on.
Do you know what I really think?
Go on.
It's wait till your turn comes, darling. Because one day you're going to need to give that kid a biscuit or a chocolate or an iPad or all of them.
Other tablets are available.
Yes.
Just for a slice of sanity, isn't it? Sometimes.
Yeah, absolutely.
But you know, I'm one of these people that I would criticise the children, the parents in the supermarket, because that is seriously drives me insane. And I've said this before.
Bad behaviours.
And I would probably get cursed for this. But kids, supermarkets, screaming on the aisles, pulling things off the shelves. Being silly with the trolley drives me nuts.
It drives me nuts too.
And I would blame the parents totally.
I have a really good thing. Rupal, I want you to go and find out what you were like as a child. My little boy is a nightmare, little Rohan. And I've asked my mom, was I like this? Was I like this? She's like, yeah, you were like this, exactly like this. So I know where he gets it from, and that makes me feel a bit more.
What's the worst thing somebody's probably ever said to you as a parent about your child or children?
When I was breastfeeding, someone did say in a group of mums, like, breast is best. But it really hurt me, even though I was breastfeeding. It hurt me because a really close friend of mine was trying so hard to breastfeed and she couldn't, and I was just thinking of her. But then someone made this comment and I thought, how is it affecting her? Because all she wants to do is that, and she can't. And it's not always that easy for anyone. So you just have to sort of think that, if you're putting it out there, it's
going to come back to you. Nima, what about you? What's the worst thing?
I think you've got to take it with a pinch of salt.
Yeah.
Really?
You've got to take it as, I see it as, that's immature, being an immature adult, actually. If you're going to project your being a great mother onto another mother who's trying equally hard. But saying that, I do think I've been judgmental.
Oh, really? So you've been critical of other parents?
For sure. For sure. You talk about the supermarket. When I see kids rolling around not having boundaries, that does make them at risk or make them feel unsafe, or, kids running out of shops. I'm sorry, that is lazy parenting.
What's the worst thing somebody has ever said to you as a parent, though?
They wouldn't dare.
Go on. You said when we were talking off air, one thing that really, really bugs you that people say to you.
Oh gosh, I remember once speaking to a close friend, and I was saying something like, "Oh, my child cries when they don't get whatever." They must have been 6 months old, and she said something like, "You've got to nip that in the bud."
Not a favourite phrase of yours.
6 months old. I didn't want to nip anything in the bud. I just wanted a bit of sympathy. And I think as adults, we should be able to offer that to each other.
Yeah.
Because not all kids are the same. Not all parents are the same. Just take it in our stride, but don't be lazy about it.
So don't criticise, because you never know, it could come back to you. Your thoughts are more than welcome, either now or later. When you're watching this back. Look, thank you so much, ladies, for joining me on the programme. Time just flies, doesn't it?
Yeah,
so look, snow, I'm going to mention snow once more.
Again.
It's stopped snowing, but plans for today and for Christmas?
Well, I'm going to the temple today, so we go to the Hare Krishna temple, and being Christmas, we have a Christmas marathon, so it's all about distributing books, actually. Okay. So it's part of giving, it's part of the whole Christmas feel. So I'm going to go and try and distribute a book today to somebody who might need it. Just adding a little bit of spirituality to this mad, snowy, commercial mood.
All right, Dharma?
Yeah. I think I'm going to go back and try and have some fun with the kids. Maybe make a snowman, maybe throw a few snowballs and just enjoy this snow while we've got it, because it definitely doesn't last, does it?
And plans for Christmas?
Plans for Christmas with family, so with both of our parents on both sides. We try and share the day with everybody as much as we can.
Look, thank you so much for joining us on Rupal's Chatty Women. This is the last one until the new year, but hopefully I'll be able to bring you some highlights over the next couple of weeks. So, from Nima, from Dharma, and from me, and the mystery voice who isn't here today, but the other mystery voice, say goodbye.
Goodbye.
Merry Christmas, and have a fantastic
Happy
start to the new
Christmas.
year. Make sure you share the video and comment on it as well. Love your snow pictures too. Thank you. Bye.
Bye.
Bye.